My name is Angie Andreessen. I am the business analyst here at DLI working on the Workers' Compensation Modernization Program. So today with this answer hour, we are going to focus on group administrator questions that you all have had. I know we did do another one of these a few weeks back. The format is pretty similar to what we do with our other answer hours, just slightly different, a little bit more question focused, and I can do some demonstrations if needed as well. So just a reminder that we are going to be recording this session. We'll make it available afterwards, either later today or early next week. And additionally, I've just muted all of you so that we can minimize background noise. So if you have any questions, please utilize the chat function. We love to have the chat questions so that we can reference them later. So jumping right into the deck, we've got some frequently asked questions that I've been seeing quite a bit. So I want to run through those. And then also throughout, please feel free to put your questions in the chat. No need to wait for this QA demo slide. And we'll talk a little bit about upcoming answer hour sessions as well. So before we hop into these questions, I wanted to just kind of explain a few of these and what we have done to resolve some of the issues. So hopefully some of you are seeing that our group staff and interns tab is populated for organizations now. So that is one thing that I wanted to touch base with you all on and let you know. We did put a fix in last night, so if your QRCs were missing from that tab, they should be there now. If for some reason you're still missing them, please feel free to let us know so that we can investigate it further. Also, that seems to have resolved the issue where people were getting the error where they were not allowed to file or not able to file. So that has been resolved as well. So the first thing that I wanted to run through today is how you get to a group registration renewal page in Campus. This is something that a lot of you probably haven't had to do quite yet, but I definitely want to show you exactly how it works just because the navigation path is a little bit different. And I'm guessing that many of you will actually be completing this task since you're group administrators. So right now I'm logged in as a group admin for a rehab firm. If I click on the My Groups tab, you can see that I'm in a few different groups. I'm actually going to click into Great Lakes Rehab right here. Now, once I'm on this page, if I need to renew my rehab registration, I would click here and submit registration. What this is going to do is it's automatically going to populate most of the information that you've already submitted to us. So rather than going in through the dashboard where you would go for a new rehab firm registration, if you are doing an update, you just go through to your entity details page and it'll pull through most of the information. So in my instance, I have here that I don't have any employees. So that is why I don't have a workers' compensation insurance policy on here. Obviously, you all will have work comp policies, or most of you, unless you're sole practitioners. So that wouldn't necessarily apply. You can look up your insurer, type in your policy number, your effective and expiration dates. If you are exempt for some reason, you can add an explanation here. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to review your address list for your firm. You can add addresses, you can edit addresses from here. And then you'll want to look at your staff details. So in here, you're going to want to enter all of your staff, whether they're QRCs or admin staff. If somebody is part-time or a manager, you're going to want to enter that in as well. So if they're a manager, that'll be noted. That'll allow them to be associated with the interns and view their files and be listed as the managing QRC for an intern if they need to submit an application. If they're part-time, you can click the is part-time. We're just going to ask for the weekly hours. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. You can also use this to remove people who may not be part of your firm anymore. So let's say that Mike Rehab is no longer in my firm. I could delete him. for another, press delete. It'll ask me to confirm. Once I confirm, they'll no longer be listed on my list. Additionally, here we have some supporting documents that can be uploaded. So in this instance, you would just want to upload any documents that would be helpful for Joanne to review when she's looking at your renewal. Mike, if you feel free to speak up at any point if there's anything specific that I'm missing. Yeah, go
Sure.
ahead.
Yeah, I'm happy to. Folks, this is the general requirements for the interns. So, if they have school transcripts, their resumes, your plan of supervision, all of that stuff needs to be uploaded there so that Joanne can do her review.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. Yeah, so just anything that you think is important for Joanne, those things that Mike mentioned as well can be put into that upload section. What that will actually do is it'll go ahead and upload those documents directly to the application. So when you guys submit that application, all those documents should be attached. They would be there for the review by DLI. And we can always reach out to you if we have additional questions or need additional documents. You should be able to get those to us in some way. We can definitely explain that if for some reason something is missing. Now, if this form, after you submit it, after you sign it and submit it, this form should go to Q on our end. What will happen is Joanne will review it and she would either approve or deny it. It is my understanding that you would get an email notification as well as a notification up in the corner where your notifications are on the home page after this is submitted. You can also save this as a draft. You can preview it. You can download a PDF copy if you'd like as well. I'm going to go back into my home page here and then back into my slides. I see that we've got a few questions. All right, so if we notice any employee information needs to be updated, such as address, does the insurer or employee's attorney need to make those changes? I think Mike answered that the insurer would make those changes. Next question, will renewal notifications come by mail or via campus? So Mike answered that as well. You will get those via campus now. Dawn, your office moved to a new location and the system has the new address as well as the old address. The effective date ranges are incorrect. I'm not sure what this affects, if anything, but it's always good to have correct information in the system. Our new address is listed as being effective 7/31/2003, but we just moved here this year. Dawn, I can take a look at that. It may just be something that we need to update on our end from a data standpoint. So I can take a look at that. All right, I'm listening in for my group administrator. Should she have files listed under my claims? It is unlikely that you all would have files listed under my claims right now. That is specifically going to be if you have access to the entire file. So the entire campus file, the division file, the same as like the claim administrator. Most of the time, you're just going to have access to your rehab file. The difference may be that you are, if you're trying to file an R3, so you needed access to that rehab case, that's where you might see things in the My Claims, but otherwise you likely wouldn't see anything in that My Claims. And since we are on the tangent of registrations, I'm going to hop back into campus. And while I do that, Joanne brought up an excellent point that if you submit your registration, it's going to give you a message that you need to submit a check. You can just send that to our financial services department. Now, what I wanted to go through next is the individual rehab provider registration, because I know a lot of you are doing these. I know that we did log. There is an issue that some of you have been having with these on our end. So that is in the works. I did make a note of that this morning. You can see here that it's going to pull through your information. Most of the time, it's going to pull through your information on the file. Now, in this instance, I can choose if I want to do a QRC or an intern registration, whether it's initial, change of employment, reinstatement, or renewal. And then I would just fill out all the required fields. If I have a QRC number, I would enter that. If I don't have a QRC number, I would not enter that. You can look up your firm from here. This is the same if you're doing a change of employment or if you are registering with your firm for the first time or renewing with your firm. You're going to want to upload your certifications and check all the certifications you have. Any of the supporting documentation should be put here along with all of these if any are applicable to you. And then you'll want to sign it and submit it. This one you can also download as PDF and preview. And again, when you submit this, it is going to give you that message regarding the check and sending that to financial services.
And we may want to note that they got to check that little box down there. Otherwise,
Exactly. That's a great point. So you're always going to want to sign first. So type your name exactly as it shows on your campus profile and then check the box. Otherwise, it's going to get mad at your signature. It wants to make sure that you're acknowledging your signature as it is at the time. So sign and then check. Great point, Mike. All right. Getting back into the slides, I'm going to pause and look at some questions here. As a group administrator, I am unable to download and view the related attachments when the R form is filed by a QRC. The error message indicates that I am not authorized to access the page. So that is something that I did actually log an issue on yesterday. I was seeing the same thing with another related attachment. So unfortunately, since it was just discovered yesterday, it wasn't put out in the fix today, but that is something that we're aware of where you're not always able to access those attachments. And Kayleen, you don't have anything listed under the My Queues at all. Is that an issue we should address? If you just want to send me a screenshot of that file so I can see what tabs you do have, typically it would be under your My Rehab Cases, but we can look into that a little bit further. So this next one should not be an issue for you guys anymore, but I am going to run through it anyway, just to make sure it is clear for everybody. I have users who are showing as pending. Why is this? So prior to our fixes over the last couple of weeks, we did have a situation where a lot of QRCs were still showing as pending in the group. We did resolve that. If you are still seeing that on your end, I would recommend that you make sure that the users who are showing up as pending do have a campus account, and then just verify that the email address is the same as the address that is showing in the invitation. If for some reason those are not the same, so let's say they registered with an email address that was not correct, what we can do is we can either have you add their new email address to the group, so send a new invitation with that email address, or the user can actually go ahead and update their email address after they log into their campus account. So just to kind of demo how they would do that, this is not something that you would have to do as the group administrator. They can actually go ahead and do this on their own. So they click on the name and do edit profile. This screen will come up. They can update their email address here and click save. Oh, and it looks like my QRC number is invalid in here in my test system. So it won't let me save, but typically you should be able to save and it'll update your email address. Now, if for some reason you've checked all of those things and the person still is sitting in pending, they've registered, you know their email address is correct, at that point, go ahead and send us a message or file something with the help desk and we can get them moved over if for some reason they're still experiencing that issue. I'm gonna pause here and look at some questions. So Lori, I don't have any files assigned to me as a QRC, but I am a group administrator. Is it correct that I don't have the My Rehab Cases as an option on my screen? That would be correct. You would either have to be a related admin or the QRC that is signed up with the case. So you are the group administrator, but since you're QRC, you're not related to other users. So the only instance, Lori, that you would probably see them is if you were related to an intern, you would see their cases. And if you started submitting cases again, your cases would also show up there. I know that is a really big feedback item that we've gotten from the QRC community, just that it would be helpful if the managers could be related to other QRCs in the firm. So that's something that I've logged as well as a high feedback item for you all, just because we've been hearing that from quite a few of you, that that would be helpful. All right. How do I change permissions for users? So we've gone through this a few times in past answer hours, but I will do it one more time. So, oh, and I apologize. I am actually not a group administrator of this one. I can make that change really quickly on my end so I can show you. Essentially, you'd follow that same navigation path that I just was looking at. And what you would do is you would click that little kebab menu and then click Manage Group. So in that instance, if you're going to manage the group, it would show you all of the group members. You'd be able to click on each group member, and then you could edit their permissions from there. If you bear with me just a second, I will update my own permissions on my side so that I can actually demonstrate that for you. All right, I think we're in business now, so I'm going to log back in. So now you guys should be seeing Campus. I apologize. I had it on my slide deck while I was making that change on my internal site. So if you needed to update permissions for your people, you could come in, click your name, click my groups, click this little kebab, and now I've got this manage group because I am a group admin. I'm going to click on that, and then it'll take me to my list of users. So if I needed to change permissions for these people, I could click on the individual. So if I'm going to click on Larry, he doesn't have any permissions in Campus and he doesn't have any relationships. So for permissions, let's say I want to make him the designated contact for penalties and the profile management designee. I'm going to add service of process to him too. Let's say I decided I don't want him to have service of process. All I would need to do is click this trash can and that permission will go away. Now when I click save, it's going to update and show right here these permissions. So additionally, in the relationships, I think this is the next point that I have on my slides, you can edit your relationships from here. So Larry is a really good example of that. We have Larry listed as a general user because he's an admin, just an admin staff, support staff. Now, if I wanted to edit his relationships, I could click the edit button by relationships and add as many or as few of the QRCs as I wanted. So I know we've discussed this before in other answer hours. Basically, if there are permissions that are, or if there are relationships between yourself and the QRC or an admin staff and QRCs, they can file on their behalf and they should be able to view their files. It looks like there was just a question regarding a list of permission levels. So if you open this permissions modal in Campus, every single one is going to have a brief description of what that permission entails. So those are right there, right under the group administration or the member permissions tab. Additionally, I do have a comprehensive list of that in my group admin training that was done back in October, as well as the slide deck for that. That has all of the permissions and all of the definitions for them. Now, some of the ones that are on that list may not be applicable to QRCs, But if you look at the permissions in the permission modal, it'll give you a little bit of an overview and only show the ones that are applicable for QRCs and rehab staff. All right. So I think we kind of covered these three. The last question that I had that is pretty frequently asked is, I'm trying to invite someone to the group, but it says that they can't be added. Why is this? So in most instances, it may be that that user is already part of a different rehab firm. So I believe that there might be something in the rules. Mike, feel free to correct me with this, but I believe that we have it set up that a rehab provider can only be part of one group at a time.
And that's correct.
Yeah, so that would be the reason that you might be seeing that. If you need assistance with that, or if you're trying to add someone to your group and you're getting that message, you can always contact us. We have a way of looking on our side to see which groups that rehab provider is a part of. So with that, last thing I wanted to show is the Campus Central page. So you guys are probably pretty familiar with this page now. This is where we post all of our updates. We're working on some FAQs, some quick reference guides. You can log into Campus from here. And then also this is where we are going to be posting our release notes. So you can see we had release notes from last week. We do have a new release that went out last night, as we mentioned. So those release notes should be posted shortly, either today or Monday. And if you click on this view release notes document, it's going to be very nice and specifically break down the changes that are important for your group. So you all can skip over global if you want. Those are always kind of good to see because they impact everyone potentially. Skip over law and just look at the QRC updates. We will be posting those now after all of our releases. So good habit to get into would be maybe Friday afternoons, Monday mornings to take a look and see what was released on that Thursday. I know with the holidays, these next few weeks, our releases are going to be a little bit irregular, but for the most part, we do kind of have a cadence of them going out on Thursday nights. There are always exceptions to that, but that is the general norm. Finally, just wanted to touch base on future answer hours. We did announce this in the last answer hour, but we are going to be taking a little bit of a break for the holidays with these answer hours. So we won't have any for the next few weeks, and we'll start again January 4th. As we've been asking in all of our different answer hour groups, is this something that you all feel is necessary to continue as far as the group admins, or would you like to see this kind of rolled into the QRC answer hours? We could do either. So any feedback you have, please provide that in the chat. And I do see a question here about the group admin training link. I can go ahead and put that in the chat and show you exactly how to find that. So if you go to the DLI page, you can type in training. And click Work Comp Campus Training. Now, once you're on this page, we've got a number of quick reference videos, and then we also have our training sessions. This is the group management session right here. I will just post the link for the video in the chat. And then also the link to this page. All right, and I'm seeing some feedback that we could probably roll this into the rehab provider answer hours. So we can definitely look into doing that for you all next time, maybe hit on some group admin things within those larger group answer hours rather than scheduling a second one. If there are no other questions, I will go ahead and end this answer hour, and we will plan to talk to you all in January. Thank you all so much for your participation and your continued cooperation throughout this process. It's been very helpful for us, and I hope it's been helpful for you all as well. Have a safe and happy holiday season, and we will talk to you in January.